Are we on?
Yeah.
Where's your phone? Where's action? We'll get started in 1 minute. If you're watching this video, just skip ahead 1 minute if you're not watching it live. All right, it's 7 o'clock. It's the All-American Prepper. I'm going to get started off with an important topic. Bring them on. It's hot, hot, hot. I am melting. Out west, we're having a drought. And they're saying it is going to continue on for a very long time. Well, guess where we get our wheat and our grains and our fruits and our vegetables? That's where it comes from. That's what I'm telling you guys. You need to go ahead and start buying food and putting it back. If it's going to be canned goods, you need to keep it where it's in a cool environment. If you got rice, you need to get that rice and put it in the freezer for 24 hours to kill the bugs in there. I learned that the hard way. I had these things called weevils that devastate my rice. They come with the rice. But if you freeze that rice, it'll kill them weevils. Then put it away. But you need to put food away because there is going to be a shortage of food. Now, on the last live I went, I was asked, when are we going to be out of gas? Now, there's still going to be gas in the world. We're just going to have trouble getting it. That's going to be the problem. It's going to be a logistics nightmare. Now, I got to be careful what I say because YouTube will flag my video. I need everyone that watches this, please subscribe. I thought being shadow banned was a myth. No, it's real. I'm having people say, hey, man, I subscribed to your channel. You're not showing up on my news feed. Somehow you got unsubscribed. So make sure you're still subscribed. I am being shadow banned. Ever since I put that pipeline out there, I lost subscribers. And it's a shadow ban. They're like, oh, man, somebody's telling the truth. We can't have that. Because they turned that gas off, not the hackers. No. They said their billing department got hacked. They said it did. Now, whether it did or not, I don't know. I don't believe anything the mainstream media says anymore. Not one word. If they say the sky's blue, then I'm looking out there going, man, is it pink or purple? I don't believe them. That's all they do is lie. You can't believe nothing anymore. But I'm going to tell you this. When that strain of COVID comes over here, it's wiping them people out over there, we're going to have a problem. I got to be careful. See, I shouldn't have said that word. That shot, is it going to protect you from the other strain? That's a big question. And, by this point, I don't believe anything they say on the mainstream media. There's things that I want to talk about that I'm just like, no, can't do it. Because there's a lot of things I know that is classified information I am not at liberty to say.
What happens if you have no seeds to plant and you're in the desert?
First off, if you're in a desert, that's not a good place to try to grow anything because there's no water. It's hard to get to. I mean, there's water somewhere. So if you're going to plant something, you got to plant it near the water. I just wouldn't do it. I would just stick to hunting, honestly. And I would eat absolutely anything. Well, there's some cactuses don't eat out there. That's where wild edibles come in. You need to know what you're doing.
Is it safe to drink cacti?
Some. Most of them, nope. There is a couple of breeds that are, but most of them in the desert are not safe to drink. And even the ones that you can drink, they still have some toxicity in them.
So just like here in Florida, we learn our wild edibles out there. If you know you're going to go out there for a living, or if you do live out there,
or visiting and get lost,
yes, go ahead and learn your cactus.
But those ones you see on the cartoons and you see on the pictures, that no, you can't drink from that. It'll make you sick. And don't drink camel milk because it'll tear your stomach up. Learned that the hard way.
How do I tell which cactus to drink and not to drink?
Study your wild edibles. That's how. Really, it's hard for me to explain, because I don't have pictures. After we get done with this conversation, YouTube it. YouTube is a great source of information. It really is. And it kind of goes around the mainstream media to where you will hear a lot of the truth. Like this drought out there. You're not hearing a whole lot about it on the media, but man, we are not going to have any food. And while I'm on that topic, you need to buy you some tires. There's a tire shortage now too. There's fixing to be a shortage of everything. And only people with a lot of money is going to be able to afford it. They're spending $4 billion something in California to build some railway when really they need to spend that money to build a desalination plant to turn salt water into fresh water because they got no water out there right now. They want to spend, $1 billion on fire equipment because they know that place is going to burn to the ground this year, so dry. But honestly, they can have California. That's nothing to do with it. Why do you think people's moving from California to Florida? Why do you think people's moving from New York to Florida? You want to know why? Because our governor. They're still locked down in a lot of places up there. You can't do nothing. And of course, the mainstream. I was watching this comedian on a late night show talking about, look at Florida, they're open. But he lied because their numbers are higher than ours with the COVID right now. So I guess some people just don't like freedom. Some people want to be a caged animal and told what to do. And that is the most anti-American you can be, man. If you want to be that way, move to China. Then they'll tell you what to do and how to do it. Not to do it. Me, I like my freedom. I won't. When I want. As I please. That's why I say all American prepper. We still have some rights. Very few, but some. So, is there another question there?
No, there's not. It's the same one.
My mom is outside hollering. We are busy on live on YouTube. Well, you're just going to have to catch the next one. My mama, I love her. And I stay here to take care of her. But I earn it. There's a reason why I'm so dang on mean and tough. I get that from my mama. She's probably going to gnaw through the chain on the fence and come in here. Because I got this place secured. She's still out there hollering when I done told her. No, I'm live. So if you got any questions, shoot them my way. And now, this is what you need to do. If you're a real prepper, you need to get every single gadget, tool, every single tool that you have, and you need to practice with it. Because in a survival situation, it's going to be a high stress situation. And under high stress, you just, it's hard to think straight. So, you need to get your generators out, run them, see what they'll run. You need to get your weapons out, learn them, know their limitations, know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. You need to get your rod and reels out. If, whatever you plan on falling back on. Like me, for instance, I'm going to fish. That's a big part of my survival. But if the fish ain't biting, I'm going to throw a cast net because they will bite that net. I promise you. So that is a good thing to have as a cast net also. That way if the fish ain't biting, just throw a net. You'll catch them. And in a survival situation, you'll have better luck getting more protein catching a whole lot of small fish than you will be fishing hard for one big fish.
Okay, how will the elderly survive all alone in the wilderness?
If they're not mean dog tough and they don't have experience and knowledge, and if they don't have someone like me to take care of them, they're not going to survive. Now, if they're mean dog tough and they know wild edibles and how to hunt, they'll fare pretty good.
And actually, right before we went live, I did see on the news that a 60 or 62-year-old man just got found from when he went fishing, and he built his own little
he built him a shelter.
If
you're lost, that's one of the first things you do is build a shelter, find a water source, and then make a fire if you're somewhere where it's cold, or if you need to cook something, or if you need to purify that water. Down here, the fire is the last thing I want to build because it is so hot. I am melting right now. It's only going to get hotter down here in Florida. Was there another question?
Yes. How about people with disabilities?
If they're mean dog tough, like her brother is, he'll make it. Look at those big old bucks he brings home.
Yeah. And turkey.
And so he'll make it. He knows how to.
Hunt.
He knows how to hunt. I would love to have him part of the group,
He knows how to fish.
And that's what it takes. If you get someone with a disability, and then you get someone that's able-bodied, the person with a disability that has all the knowledge will keep you alive if you just listen and do what they say. Because they have the knowledge and the experience of doing it. And you have the able body to do it. This is your best weapon. Is your brain. You got to think. If you're lost in the woods, first thing you do is stop and relax, because panic sets in, and then you're really lost. Panic really messes you up. That's why you got to practice with all your preps, because they're going to be in a panic situation probably. If you're not like me, I'm not going to panic. I've been in terrible situations in my life. I put myself in harm's way working at the most roughest clubs there is. Where the last club I worked at, I got that job because the guy working there got shot in the back. So I took his spot. I put myself in those situations. That way, when something happens, I know how to react. And if I get killed working, well, then I guess my skills weren't good enough. And if anybody really wants me, all you got to do is find where I'm working and come out there and get me. Come to the club and start something. I'll be there. I'm just honest. I'm too honest for my own good. But a bouncer's easy to get. Just go to the club, start some crap. And she's trying to calm me down. I've had a rough day. This here, that dang PTSD medicine they have me almost messing up my liver. And I'm detoxing from that medicine. We're going to have a real problem when the supply chain goes down. You're going to have all these people detoxing off these psych meds. You better be ready to fight. Lucky for me, I got her. And she's helping me through this. And they went and draw my blood today. My liver still ain't clean yet. And I told the doctor when they wrote me that medicine, and look, I don't promote drinking alcohol. I have seen it ruin so many people's lives with PTSD. But when the doctor told me, look, man, you got to come in and get your blood checked for taking this medicine, I'm like, man, I could just drink a couple shots of tequila and I'll be all right. And he's like, look at her shaking her head. And I was like, it's true, a couple shots, I don't care. But I do not promote that because that can end very badly. In a survival situation, that's the last thing you want to do. And, we are in a survival situation. People just are not opening their eyes. It is like The Walking Dead. They're not realizing, man, look, when you go to the store, there's so much stuff that's missing now. You just can't find it. We are already having shortages. Try buying a new car or something. There's shortages already here. The reason why the media ain't telling us about them droughts and crop failures and all that, they don't want everybody to panic and go down and panic buy where everything's all sold out. They don't want that to happen. That's why I say if you buy extra every time you go, you're not hoarding, but you're getting prepared. And every time I go, what I bought last time cost more. And I'm talking every time I go prepping, I go every week now. And I'll get a little bit, but it costs more. It costs more. Because mainly, I'm living off my garden, although it's about to kill me, all this water I'm having to do. So that's like back to seeds in the desert, man, that water is precious. So I would eat camels and lizards and snakes. When our guys were in Vietnam, called us snake eaters. You know why? Because a snake, you got to be careful. Most people get bit by a poisonous snake because they're messing with it. That's why most of them get bit. But they're easy prey. You kill that snake and you cook it and eat it. If you get bit, though, you're done. If it's venomous. But that's what they called us in Vietnam, was snake eaters. That's where American soldiers got a nickname, snake eaters. Because it's easy prey. It's like an alligator. I see people come from up north and they're like, whoa, alligator. Man, that's one of the easiest things in the world to hunt, to catch, to eat. They're so easy. I got a lot of friends on here and they're like, yeah, Ernie, he gets some gators. Matter of fact, I believe my family on her side ate some gator that I got.
Yep. Yep.
They do have gator license in Florida because we are overrun with those things. They are everywhere. Easy prey.
I'm finally on here.
Ooh. Oh, my mom. I love you, Mom. Hey, I got support of my family. That's the only way I can make it through this detox right now. It's hard. Like I said, they jab me with needles and all. I don't like that. I hate needles. It's weird. I don't mind getting a tattoo, but I don't know. I just associate needles with HIV for some reason. And, I fight. And it's as crazy as it sounds, I'm worried about getting hepatitis or AIDS because I have to get blood tested before I fight. And if I test positive for hep or AIDS, I can't fight. That's no good. I should be worried about, oh, well, the AIDS could kill. I don't even care. I don't even worry about it. I just don't want her to get it, that's for sure. Because I do get blood all over me doing my job and fighting. I just love it so much. I know I should have retired 20 years ago from fighting, but I just can't stop. I'm like a dog that killed a chicken. Now I just can't stop. I just love it. It's the adrenaline. That's how I deal with my PTSD. My psychologist is like, the reason why you're addicted to fighting is because you're addicted to that adrenaline, that's the only way you can get it. So, I get my fix. My nose has been broken 11 times. No big deal. I don't even tear up. My nose gets broke. I'm just like, oh, I'm mad now. I broke my nose. Look how crooked that thing. I had to get it sewed back on. I'm not young and pretty anymore, so I really don't care. But you need to really practice. Like, you need to get your pellet gun out. But us old school hunters, we call it getting snake bit. If you kill something and you don't eat it, it's like a curse. From then on out, when you go hunting, you're going to have a hard time getting something else. It's just strange, but I really believe that. Call it getting snake bit. Oh, you got snake bit because your hunting season has been awful this year. My buddies, they get so mad at me because I get more game in a week than they do in their whole life of hunting. It's because I've been doing it my whole life, and I'll do whatever it takes to get what I'm hunting. Now she just hits them with a truck. She done got 2 deer this year with a truck. I wasn't happy about that. But
You wasn't.
no, don't hit my deer with a truck. I want to get them with a knife.
I didn't mean to.
She didn't mean to hit him, but she still did. That's another thing, oh, I didn't mean to. You need to be careful what you do because that deer ain't never going to come back alive.
I didn't.
And that was a young buck. A few years from now,
Yeah.
I would have been parading them antlers around on top of my head. You know how I do it. I got this ritual I do.
So, make sure you get your pellet gun out. Practice it. Same thing. Get the targets out. Practice them.
Practice with these hands,
Yep.
elbows, knees,
Kicks.
everything you got. Headbutt.
Okay. How do we take down a big buck with no gun?
Hypothetically speaking,
That's actually a good question. He has a good story behind it.
well, I got to be careful about that.
Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. Well, you can use a bow.
You can use a bow. And in a grid down situation where there's no rule of law, or if you're starving, you just get that spotlight and put it in that deer's eyes and walk right up to it and cut its throat or stick it in its heart. But I will tell you, them deers will mess you up. Them horns will cut you to pieces. Their hooves will cut you to pieces. I'm not even going to tell you how I know. Not going to go there. I'm not at liberty to say that information. But hypothetically, you can put a bright light in their eyes and walk right up to them.
So with a knife and a light, if you don't have a bow or a gun.
But that's another thing, though. In a survival situation, if you get hurt, that could be the end of you. So like I watch Bear Grylls, and it's entertaining, but most of the things he does on there is what not to do in a survival situation.
No.
You don't want to take all them risks that he does on there. He can do that because he's got a whole team of medics and everything standing by in case something happens. You know, that's for entertainment. He needs to say, this is for entertainment purposes. Going into a cave, that's insane. No, don't do that. You know, going way back into the things he does. Don't watch Bear Grylls and go, no, don't do that. That's pretty much a show of what not to do in a survival situation. Now, the best is Dual Survivor. Now, that's a good one to watch. That's realistic.
And they have the two guys on there, so you get two different points of view on something. You normally have a naturalist guy.
The hippie.
Or that.
You got the guy, they got the soldier man, you got a hippie. Because they know they're going to clash. And that makes for a good show.
But also
and it's a different approach.
Yes, it does.
There's more than one way to do something.
How do you survive a boar chasing you with no gun or bow?
Climb up a tree.
That's a good question, though.
That is a good question. Climb up a tree. My cousin, he got hit by a boar just one time. Over 300 stitches on his leg. If we would have been in a survival situation, he'd have probably died from infections. He was able to go to the hospital and the doctors took care of him. If he would have got hit in a main artery, we were so far out in the woods, he would have died. That's why I always carry a tourniquet. I have a lot of guys that go, man, I ain't carrying a tourniquet. I'll just use my belt. I'm like, that's like saying, I don't need a knife. I'm just going to bust out a window and use a piece of glass for a knife. That's all you got. That's all you got. But it's still better to carry a tourniquet. It's better to carry a knife. But no, wild boar, you better get up a tree, man. If you got nothing. Me, I like to wait till it gets dark. I know how to get right up on them. And I'm a risk taker. That's why I'm all scarred up. That's why I've been shot and stabbed. And, I'm a risk taker. And still, I wouldn't do that stuff Bear Grylls does. That's insane. I would do it when I know I could go to the hospital and all. But in a survival situation, don't do that. If people are going to try that stuff, they're going to get killed. That's for entertainment. So, again, you need to put back food because of this drought. It's just going to get worse. And you need to brace yourselves for when that strain from India comes to America. I'm still not getting that shot. I don't trust it. They're pushing it too hard. I'm not even going to go political, but no.
But we always talk about making sure you have your food storage, water, stuff. Another thing that we've not really talked a lot on, but in one of our past videos that he did, he mentioned it just a little bit. Medical supplies. Stock up on, you can just do a small essential medical supplies, Band-Aids, Neosporin, stuff like that, gauze, alcohol, peroxide. But you could even get a little bit more things, like if you happen to go to the doctor and your wrist or something is out of play, splint or something, they give you this brace. Hold that on hand afterwards. If you know someone that went to the ER after a car wreck and they put a brace around your neck, hold on to that afterwards too. All that kind of stuff. You hold on to it because you never know when you're going to need it, especially when there's no way to get medical attention. You have some of that. And also getting books on how to do medical stuff and read up on those. And then get some of those medical stuff that you're reading, get those in your little medical supply kit.
And go to the feed store. You can get penicillin, all kind of antibiotics from the feed store. Or you can go to Walmart and get fish aquarium antibiotics. It's the same stuff they give you at the doctor's office. Yep. It's the same stuff. Now, with that penicillin, though, you need to learn it, because if you use too much penicillin, you can go to a shop that can kill you. So don't be guinea pigging yourself. Unless you're already dying, then what do you got to lose?
Okay, we have a good question. Is there a bee store you recommend? Is there a bee store you recommend?
Bee store.
Okay, is that more for getting honey, or because
honey's a good antibiotic, by the way. It's good for a lot of things. And it stores forever.
There's for Lakeland area, I know there is a good one on the south side that just gets honey, or even just little honey, yeah.
In our area, we got a good place to buy it, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of this honey you buy at the store, it'll say honey, 100% honey. It's fake. It's not real honey. Mm-mm. I used to raise bees. There's a lot of fake stuff out there. You know, a lot of, what's that oil they use on everything? Olive oil. There's a lot of fake olive oil. There's a lot of fake stuff out there now. So, and they got that fake honey. They got it figured out how to make it. I get mine straight from the bee man, so I know it's real. And honey will store forever. It never goes bad, as long as it doesn't get wet.
And I'm sorry, I do not know the name of that bee the bee store where to get honey at. And I know there used to be one on the north side of Lakeland as well. And they closed down, but I think they moved or something, but I don't remember the name of it.
The best place to get your honey is from a bee man that has bees. That way you know it's real honey. Anywhere. Not just Lakeland, because, you know, we got people all over the world that watch this. Get your honey from a bee man. That way you know it's real honey. If you're buying it at a store, you really don't know if that's real.
And then also...
you got to think worldwide now. We're not just in Polk County.
Yes. And so also look up your local honey, your bee person in your local area. And also they would have more of the honey from the plants or whatever in your area. So that was actually good for people with allergies. Because those honey and those bees are getting the pollen from your local area.
You always want to get local honey wherever you're at.
Should I trust an online honey store that it's going to be real honey?
Nope. No. Now, there's something else I want to bring up that's really important. You know, I'm all over the place. I've been hitting the head a lot. That's obvious. But I was in a situation where a man passed. We were there. And I'm so glad that I know CPR. Because I did everything I could to bring him back. But I couldn't bring him back. And I was really upset and mad at myself about that. Sometimes it's the POR, point of no return. And he was past his POR. But knowing that I know CPR, and I knowing that I did everything I could to bring him back, that lifts some of that burden off me. Because I know I did everything possible. If I didn't know CPR, and I'm just like, oh man, what am I going to do? Right? Then I would have some guilt. So you need to go down and learn CPR. You need to learn first aid. They have classes for that. You could save someone's life. Your grandpa. You just never know who's going to fall out. And if you know CPR, there is a chance of bringing them back. I have brought people back that's been wounded real bad. And I've seen a lot of people in the combat situation and in the real out here in the world not die from the end, from going in shock. Because like, oh my God, you know, I lost my leg. Well, I done tourniquet, I done did everything. They would have been fine, but they went in shock and the shock killed them. So no matter how bad it gets, try to remain calm. Because the panic will do you in, man. And learn CPR. Because I know I did everything I could to bring that man back.
Yep, we did.
I got so tired that I had her take over because we were so far out in the woods. It seemed like it took forever for the ambulance to get there. It took them a very long time.
Well, they passed the street.
That's a long ways out there, and it took them a long time. But since I knew I did everything I could in my power to bring him back, and I tried so hard, that is a relief on me that I tried. I didn't just stand there and panic and run around going, oh man. I just jumped right in there and knew what I had to do. But he was past the POR, and may God have, I know he's in heaven. He was a good man.
He was.
And I miss him. You know, you think I would be used to that, but that was a different situation. I have been around a lot of people. I have seen a lot of death, but that was different because I've known that man my whole life. With that, I guess, you know, y'all threw the questions my way. Like I said, get ready. This drought is bad, man. It's a lot worse. There's certain churches that has inside information also, and they are telling their congregation to secretly get ready.
Yep.
I know that for a fact. So does she.
Yep.
Maybe we heard that from our church. But that's a secret, so. You need to get ready. With that, this is y'all Prepper. Thank you so much for your questions. Stay ready and have a blessed day.